All right, for the next few minutes, I want you to forget everything. You're not you anymore. You are a crocodile. And together, we're going to explore the incredible, almost unconscious math and physics that your prehistoric brain is using every single day. This is the hidden genius behind your instincts.
So, let's get right to it with a kind of weird question. Why do you eat rocks? I know, you do it. It feels right. But believe me, this isn't some strange compulsion. It's a brilliant hunting strategy, one your ancestors perfected millions of years ago. And it's absolutely central to what makes you such a perfect predator.
See, you are basically a living fossil. Your ancestors figured out the math and physics of the hunt so perfectly that evolution just kind of stopped updating you. It's been copy-pasting the same killer design ever since. And that weird little habit of eating rocks, well, that's a key part of this whole masterpiece. Now, what's fascinating is that the reason you eat rocks actually changes as you grow up. When you were just a baby, you'd swallow tiny pebbles. They were like extra teeth grinding up insects in your stomach. But now that you're a full-grown adult, those big fist-sized stones you swallow, they have a completely different and way more important job. Those rocks are all about the physics of the ambush. They are the secret to making your massive 1,500-pound body a silent, invisible weapon. Let's break down how this actually works. Okay, so think about it. When you fill your lungs with air, they basically become giant built-in water wings. You're naturally buoyant. But a gut full of stones, and we're talking over 20 pounds worth sometimes, acts as a perfect ballast. It counteracts that buoyancy. Without those rocks, you'd pop back up to the surface like a piece of toast. With them, you become a master of the underwater world. On average, those rocks just about double your dive time to around 11 minutes. But some of you, the real pros, can stretch that to an incredible 35 minutes underwater, all because of an instinct to swallow stones. And it's a trick so good that your ancient seafaring cousins, the plesiosaurs, were already doing it 150 million years ago. So the rocks give you perfect neutral buoyancy. And this lets you pull off that classic move, the periscope, with just your eyes and nostrils peeking above the water. And this is where a fundamental law of physics called refraction becomes your absolute best friend. The effect is just brilliant. Because light bends when it moves from the water into the air, it completely distorts the view of your body under the surface. So to that thirsty zebra coming down for a drink, your enormous, powerful body looks like, well, a couple of harmless floating sticks. You are perfectly hidden in plain sight. So you can wait like this for hours, totally invisible, unbelievably patient. But when your prey finally gets close enough, it's time to unleash the weapons that make your strike one of the most lethal on the planet. You see those little black bumps all along your jawline? They might not look like much, but they are one of the most powerful sensory systems in the entire animal kingdom. Each one is a tiny pressure sensor, so sensitive it can detect a change in the water finer than the ripple from a single drop of sweat falling into the river. It's basically a built-in radar. And there it is, a tiny disturbance in the water. That is all you need. In less than a blink of an eye, you launch forward, your massive tail propelling you at over 20 miles per hour. That explosive strike culminates in this number, a bite force of up to 3,700 psi. That's pounds per square inch. And it is, without a doubt, the strongest bite in the entire animal kingdom, period. Just to put that number in perspective for you, it is nearly 4 times stronger than a lion's bite. Your teeth aren't even that sharp. They're conical, like spikes, designed to withstand that insane pressure and just punch into your prey like hooks. So, you've done it. You've caught your dinner. But now, you have a huge problem. Your teeth are amazing for gripping, but they are terrible for cutting or chewing. You're holding onto a meal that you can't actually eat. So, what do? You solve it with physics, of course. You unleash one of the most violent and, frankly, one of the most effective maneuvers in all of nature, the death roll. Here's how it works. First, you fold your legs in tight against your body. This is a classic physics trick. It's exactly what an ice skater does when they pull their arms in to spin faster. By shrinking your radius, you massively increase your rotational speed. And then, with all that explosive power from your tail, you spin. The amount of torque you generate is just astronomical. It's enough to snap bones and tear through thick hide and muscle. A few violent rotations, and what was once a large animal is now in perfectly manageable bite-sized pieces. It's a brutal but incredibly clever solution to not being able to chew. Okay, the hunt is over. But your biological genius doesn't stop there, oh no. Now it's time to show everyone why you are the undisputed champion of energy conservation. Deep inside your chest, you have an evolutionary miracle, a special four-chambered heart with a unique valve that lets you control your own blood flow. It's amazing. When you're jiving, you shunt blood away from your lungs and send it only to the important bits, like your brain. But when you're digesting, you do something even smarter. You send all that CO2-rich, deoxygenated blood straight to your stomach. Now, why would you do that? Well, that carbon dioxide-rich blood supercharges your stomach, cranking up the production of stomach acid to be 10 times faster than a mammal's. This lets you digest absolutely everything. We're talking bones, horns, shells, you name it. Nothing goes to waste. This incredible digestive system is just one part of your whole survival toolkit. You're cold-blooded, so you use the sun for heat instead of burning your own energy. You can literally sleep with one half of your brain at a time, so you're always alert. And because your digestion is so efficient, one big meal can keep you going for months. When you put all this together, the result is just stunning. Compared to a warm-blooded mammal of the same size, you use a tiny fraction of the energy. A lion might need to eat hundreds of times a year. You might only need to hunt 4 or 5 times. This low-energy lifestyle is why, once you make it to adulthood, your chance of survival is an almost unbelievable 95%. So, from swallowing rocks to control your buoyancy, to using physics to tear your food apart, to rerouting your own blood to digest bone, every single instinct you have has been perfected over 200 million years. You are a masterpiece of survival. Which really only leaves one question. After all that refinement, after reaching this level of perfection, what could possibly be next?